Hey, this is Sky. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Sunday morning. It's bright and early. Daily discipline, mind, body, and soul. This is how we get through. Set your mood right. I got some incense going. I got some nice tea brewing. I got some Zen music going. Let me turn it down just a little bit so it doesn't distract you guys. Let's jump into our study group for warriors. I don't think I have any new subscribers, so I don't need to explain what this is or how we get down. Let's just go through some of the notes, some of the things that I've studied over the week, just to give my hardcore heads something to think about for the day. Let's just jump into it. Here's some questions to ask yourself. It's about relationships. Do you have friends? Are there people who love you? Are there people that you sacrifice for? Not everybody has all those things, but relationships help you have a more meaningful life. Sacrifice is the road to redemption, a road to happiness. If you want to be happy, you don't have to be Elon Musk or some kind of really, successful dude. All you have to do is be able to help out some people, be able to do a little bit for somebody, be able to sacrifice a little bit of your time, a little bit of your energy, a little bit of your love, and give it to somebody else for no profit, for no gain, just for the sake of it. I was watching the ARC Foundation, Alliance for the Responsible Citizenry, much this week. I was honestly only impressed with one or two speeches. This year I thought the whole thing was kind of a dud. I just wasn't into it. It wasn't speaking to me. I thought it was shallow. Some of them I was just downright annoyed by, like the Oliver Anthony speech. This country music star who I like some of his songs. He's a millionaire. Let's not forget that. This kid's a millionaire because he posted a video on YouTube. That's how he became famous and rich, is because of the internet. And I follow him online. I subscribe to his Facebook and I think in his Instagram channel. He posts relentlessly, all day, every day. He relentlessly posts on the internet. He's a young guy, and he posts videos of himself talking about just nonsense and everything. Expose your whole life, and some of his fan base love that about him. I got no problem with it. What I had a problem with is his speech, where he gets up there, a millionaire, who flew probably on a private jet or first class into London, probably staying at a nice hotel, with his millions of dollars and his internet career, shaming people, sitting there shaming people. Don't use the internet. The internet is bad for you. Yeah, but look at you. I mean, you're hardly the person to spread that message, little internet boy. The guy who, the only reason why anybody has ever heard of him and the only reason why you have all this money, and he claims, I live in a shack on a mountainside. Bullshit. I don't care what shack you live in, millionaire. You spoiled little brat. I was so annoyed with his speech, and I'm a fan of his. I sent him a message, and I told him this. And he oddly enough sent me a response. So I thank you, Oliver, for the response. And he agreed with me. He was like, you're right, man. But I got to still put the message out there anyways. If it lands on somebody, maybe I can help out. He was like, but you're right. There was one speech that I did like, big fat British guy, I forget his name. Everybody clapped for him. I'd never heard of him or seen him before. I don't know who he is. And he talked about how the unity of our culture is what holds society together. And we desperately need, in Western civilization, to unify our culture, to have one unifying culture. We used to. Now, this isn't necessarily an attack on multiculturalism, but you could kind of look at it that way. And we've talked about before how multiculturalism spreads tribal divisions amongst different groups. What we need, at least here in this country, is a nationalistic cultural movement that we can all get behind and identify with. And this is why we're Americans. So you could be black, or you could be Hindu, or you could be Latino, or Asian, or white, or whatever. But we're all vibing with the same cultural unity in some ways. And that cultural unity is the idea of being American and the values that surround that. It has less to do with which God you pray to, or which food you eat at dinner time, and more to do with how you identify as a citizen. And I don't think people are really thinking about their citizenry. I've been thinking about writing a new book. I've written 3 novels, mob stories, set in the 70s, early 80s. The books start off in the 70s, and by the 3rd book it gets to the mid-80s. But I want to write another book just for fun, because I like writing books. And the next book I want to do a space fantasy, space odyssey, a space adventure in the future, in outer space. I want it to be funny. I want it to be short and easy to read. I want to do only 10 chapters. I was thinking of titling the book The One. And each chapter, another character would die. So it would be 10 people on a mission in space. And each chapter would be dedicated towards the death, the murder, the untimely, crazy murder in space of one of the members. Finally, with the last chapter being The One. And each chapter would be like, and then there was 9, and then there was 8. And the final one would be, and then there was The One. So I've been diving into some Japanese anime, and I've been watching this series called Space Dandy. I've also been watching Cowboy Bebop, just to give me some kind of food for this recipe. Because I want to make it a really fun adventure story with a fun hero. So I've been thinking about that this week, plotting and scheming on how to move forward with that. I may do an outline and then a first draft and just see where it goes. Sometimes it's helpful to do an outline and to do character profiles. Let's talk a little bit about how to diffuse anger. Positive affirmations work. You're angry, you're in the moment. You can immediately start running some positive affirmations to switch yourself from that negative position to a positive position. Now, you still may be somewhat mad, but you may not be driven by fury and rage. You want to snap out of that. Anger can be healthy if it's driven by love. If it's driven by hatred and like this desire to punish, to show how badass you are, then it's toxic and it's unhealthy. So a positive affirmation can be something you could try. You can breathe deeply before you respond. So somebody just offended you or something happened, whatever it is, there's lots of ways to get angry. And before jumping into battle, because I snap into action, I can pop off quick, where people are just like, whoa, what the hell just happened? I'm already running a mile a minute. I'm already deep in battle before a lot of people even understand what's even going on. You breathe deeply before you respond. Get some airflow through your body. Try to change your little mindset a little bit. Calm down. And particularly say with insults. You can develop a canned response, or if somebody's traveling down a road you don't like, maybe they're talking about politics and there's some kind of crazy person and you're instantly disgusted by them and maybe you're ready to tear them a new ass, but you know, who cares really? Why get in political arguments with people? What does it matter? You can develop a canned response, some kind of just pre-programmed response that you throw out there that just kind of nullifies that comment and that person and that situation and move on. You can de-escalate the situation, be the mature person and just calm everybody down. Everybody calm down. A good way to diffuse anger after the fact rather than in the moment is through creative outlets, spiritual outlets, and exercise. And this is one of the reasons why I promote the Mind, Body, and Soul program so heavily, is it really does help me with anger issues. And I could just run hot where I'm always a little tense, I'm always just a little bit annoyed, and it doesn't take much. Let's talk about being sanctified. Sanctification, you've heard of that before, huh? It's like a biblical thing. To be sanctified is kind of like, well, let me put it this way. You have a special purpose given to you by God. If you're sanctified, you have a special purpose. I was going to say chosen one, but on YouTube, that term chosen one has such strange connotations. You get into this weird incel world, and I'm not trying to get into that realm. To be sanctified, you have to be holy. And it doesn't happen just all at once. It's not like a light switch that just flips off. This is a path that you take. The path of being holy. And you may have a special purpose that has been given to you by God. You may be a chosen one. But that doesn't mean you have superpowers or that you're all of a sudden just some Buddha and you go around running your mouth to everybody trying to get them to follow you or whatever. You turn into some evangelist. This could be a very slow process of learning how to be holy, how to live holy, to be an example for others. Not just your family, of course your family, but your neighbors, your coworkers, people that don't know you. It's like a seed that grows gradually. This seed of sanctification, it grows like a plant, and you have to endure the weather and the seasons, and a plant has to be cultivated. The dead branches have to be snipped off, has to be pruned up, has to be fertilized, watered. But a little seed can turn into a mighty oak tree. It's not an easy road. Skip over some of these pages here. I don't want to get too into politics this time. I've been thinking a lot about politics. I've been trying to stay away from some of it, but there's some things I've been trying to figure out, and I'll get into it on another video. I'm not sure if nostalgia is really a good thing. I know a lot of guys like to sit around and talk about the good old days, and I have some friends that I've had for a long time, and we often sit around talking about the good old days, and I find those conversations make me feel uneasy. I don't like them. I'm done with the past in a lot of ways. I'm not trying to relive it, to relive the trauma and the pain, to make it out to be like the projects and the suffering and the homelessness and the drug addiction. Those were the good old days. The gangs and the crime and the violence. Oh, those were the good old days. The past version of me that I destroyed. Oh, those are the good old days. Why hold on to that stuff? Some of you guys can't let it go. It's who you are. That's all you have, is a memory of yourself from the past. I've decided to live my life in the now with a projection of the future, not this anchor from the past. I don't know, food for thought. Have a good Sunday.